Good afternoon. This is Mario with MarioThinkMiner.com, and I'll put that in there. Just going to post our thing, and I'm also going to wait because a lot of people have been asking me. So what I'll do is I keep forgetting to put in the blog post. Now you have it. All right, so let's go over this, and it's pretty straightforward. It's a golden nugget. When a man assumes a public trust, he should consider himself public property, by Thomas Jefferson. Whether you agree or not, I have pros and cons on it. And honestly, if we looked at, and I'm not to get political, but if we looked at the current, candidates, the word trust is not in the my vocabulary for either one. But that's another story. But let's think about it for a minute. And I'll give you a sports analogy because, again, in the sports arena, when a man assumes public trust, he should consider himself public property. Well, I don't believe anybody is property of anybody else. I do believe they have a responsibility. And think about it. If you're going to get paid, let's say I made it to the pros in baseball, and I'm getting paid. Well, who's really paying me is the question. The public. Yes, I have a boss, the president of the Mets, let's say. But the bottom line would be that you, the consumer, who buy the tickets, who go and bring your children and your family to the game or watch it on TV. At my time, it was more probably went to the game because you could afford it then. But the bottom line was, you would go there and you looked up. And if you were really great, I was a catcher, switch hitting catcher. So, hey, Lisa, I was a switch hitting catcher. So therefore, a lot of people, I would look up to me because I was a rare bird and I had power both ways. But bottom line was, as soon as I took a paycheck, 1 penny at least in my philosophy, then what? I'm obligated to set an image. And the question that I ask you to keep in mind is your public image moving you towards creating a healthy and wealthy lifestyle? So, or rephrase that for your own particular niche. So in other words, think of it this way. If you're unhealthy and you talk about health, it's kind of contradictory. If you're in personal development, but you wake up all the time and your posts on your walls are all negative and political and complaining and belly aching and bitching and moaning, then you're not going to attract people on that. If you believe in law of attraction, what you give out, you're going to receive back tenfold. So if you start thinking positive, if you, instead of criticizing somebody, if you uplift them, if you look for a component that you can reach, when you build a team, honestly, I'll tell you, I didn't like all my team members, but I didn't give a damn about my team members as much as I cared about winning. So therefore, I'd shut my mouth, and my personal interest wasn't. My goal was to make it to the World Series or make it to the World Cup, either game, either sports. That was my goal. So I didn't have to get along with you and be buddy buddies where I'd go out to dinner with you and have, a couple beers or whatever. I was interested that we work together to achieve our goal. And our goal was to what? Get to the World Series, get to the World Cup. So the same thing in your niche that you chose in your venue. I'm into the health and wealth. I have the privilege and honor of having colleagues of mine like J-Man Jackson and Christy Queen of Green and Dr. Doug and Jody Firebog. These people help me, and they get me to the point where I'm looking at the health and wealth. That is something. Toxic talk, we discuss it. We make you build awareness. We are always constantly wanting, and my legacy is to make people aware of the toxins. So it's the same thing I want you to do. So if your passion is, let's say your passion is something where it's a personal development, well, then you want to be able to give your public image. You want to be able to provide the image to people that you're going to be successful, that you take what you say and apply it in your own life. A baseball player is obligated or a professional athlete's obligated to do the sports. If he is, how many people took signatures of mine? They wanted my signature going up. They wanted to aspire to be a switch hitting baseball player. So therefore, what? They would want to be able to look at me as a role model. Now, people are going to say, I'm not obligated that. Well, I beg the difference. If you're going for the presidential candidacy, you have the role model of our, United States. That means something to me. If you people who served, they know what it means to give and serve for this country. You don't have to agree with everything. I'm not saying war is fun or anything, but what I am saying is when you have a cause, when you have a once you decide to go on the internet and become a public figure, you have a moral responsibility, in my opinion, to represent the truth, to always be authentic, to always be able to carry on and talk to people and be of service, not trying to get them to just sign up so you can make money on them. Hey, Cynthia, how are you? Kelly, nice joining us. Now, think of it this way, and this is what always puzzles me. And, it doesn't matter which country you come from. You have an obligation when you're a public figure to be able to help people. You have the power. Now, you can have the power and use it and abuse it, or you can use it to do something good. Nelson Mandela is somebody that pops into my mind. And, we're not going to get into the politics, but that person, in my opinion, produced, and Gandhi showed the true essence of having the power, but using it the proper way. When you're an athlete, think about it. If children are aspiring to you and then you're taking drugs and you tarnish the image of baseball, I don't think you are a public figure that is appropriate because you abuse that privilege. And you would definitely do against what Thomas Jefferson said. When a man assumes a public trust, he should consider himself public property. Now, I don't know about property in that, but I do agree with that as a public image. Think about it when people are politicians and that. They have whether they're in Congress, whether Democrat, Republican, who cares? They were entrusted to protect our rights. Now, personally, I'm not sure that skill has been lost. In my opinion, most people have forgotten that. In a society where we're quick to, we're into, today we do something, we want instant gratification, and this is where I don't understand. You want to get out of your 9-to-5 job instead of growing somebody else's dream. But at the same time now, you're not willing to invest a 2 to 5 year game plan where you learn from mentors who've gone there and been successful. You take and learn it, then you apply it, as I said on a previous video. You get the learning skill sets. You get the proper mindset, which is important, and the skill set. Now, let's compare one thing I wanted to just, because somebody asked me, we debated about it the other day privately, and I wanted to address it. We were talking about, and to me, when you go into the internet marketing industry, you're on an even level. Hell, you weren't on an even level when you went against me in baseball or in soccer. No, you didn't have the skill sets I have. That was part of ingrained, and I just honed it. My goal was to beat you and destroy you on the field. That was the goal. I mean, let's be real. But no matter how good you tried or how much you practiced, you may not have the skill sets to be a switch hitter like I was. You may not have had the gun for an arm like I had, where I could go from center field, put it right down in the catcher's glove in one shot, throw. Go from catching, throw out the guy on second base trying to steal. I had a gun for an arm, get on the pitcher's mound and throw a perfect game or whatever. Those are the things. Or play on third base. When you have a strong arm, that was it. That was something I was given. That doesn't mean. Now, I love playing the clarinet. I played it for 14 years. I'm not going to turn around and say that I'm a protege. I could practice all I want. I was very good, but was I the best of the best? No. Give you an example. I swam competitively for 14 years. I love swimming. I think it's a great exercise. I'm going to get back into it now because of my ailments. But guess what? I'm not making the Olympics. I'm not beating Mark Spitz. I'm not beating. I can't believe I can't remember the guy who just now recently, the swimmer, fantastic swimmer. Golf, same thing. So what I want you to think about is you may not have the talent in sports, but I want you to get the proper mindset. You do have the talent, and you have the same level ground as everybody else. I don't care what nationality, what religion, what educational. When it comes to internet marketing and whatever niche you are, you need three components. Proper mindset. Get your mindset. Doesn't matter if you're perfect. Angel talked about it earlier today, a perfect example. And I read it today and the other day. Failure. I don't believe failure is permanent. I believe failure is just learning lessons. It teaches you how to, as long as you use them right, when you fail on something and you learn from it and reevaluate it. When we were in a combat situation and we talked about certain things, we would discuss what we should have done on it. And then, so for the next circumstances, we would come in a different way and achieve a better result. It's the same thing here that you have. When you talk about and when you want to communicate something to somebody, what happens? Do you think it's perfect? When you first get excited and you want to spread the word about whatever you're excited about, the niche that you're doing, are you perfect? No. The point is that you do it. You keep practicing. The first day is not going to be as good as your 15th day. Your 15th day is not going to be good as your 30th. I beg, as I do the 90-day challenge, I recommend that you do 90-day components each time and then start new goals each quarter. So with the 90-day program, guess what happens? You sit there and you'll be amazed from the day 1 to day 90, the results that you get. So in closing again, as a pro athlete or as a person even in the arena in the internet marketing business, you are a public figure. The moment you do that, be very wary, be conscious, and ask yourself this. One of mine is, would I want to post something that I would want my children to read? If I'd be embarrassed that my daughter or my son was going to read it, perhaps then I wouldn't put it out there. It's the old adage, the words, when you say words, you can't take them back once you said them, even out of anger. We've all been guilty of it. So be careful what you post. Be careful what your image that it is. Stop the madness, in my sense, of acting like, some people out there, they flash money. It's crazy. They flash money and go, hey, you're going to be successful in 3 days. Press this button, give me $20 and you'll make $1 million next week. Yeah, okay. Fantastic. You might as well become a politician, in my words. But on a serious note, again, take Thomas Jefferson's words to heart. When a man assumes a public trust, he must consider himself public property. And then ask yourself this throughout everything. Is your public image moving you towards creating a healthy and wealthy lifestyle? With that, I'll talk to you again. Please share. Give me thumbs up. Give me hearts. There's different topics. And if you have something that you're interested in, like the previous person, just do that. Yes, this business does take work. It definitely does. And anybody who's going to lie to you and misrepresent, I would just run the other way. A prior tape, you wouldn't go to your doctor, walk in with a cold, and have him expect him to tell you around, oh, let's do surgery on your toe. You'd probably run out of the office as fast as you could. Same thing here. Don't assume just because you're going to be able to do it in 5 minutes and not put any effort in it. Nothing's going to work out if you didn't put effort in it. You have to earn it, and don't be discouraged with failure. Failure is just a learning mechanism to get you better and honed. The better you do it, the more practice you do it, before you know it, in 90 days, you'll be a whole different person and rocking and rolling. With that, have a good one.